Holy crap, I don't know who the hell we think when we do something like that.
What's up, fight fans? This is the Combat Connection. I'm your host, Brett Cagle, joined as always by Eddie Law, and we're back in the thick of things after covering the LFA and PFL last week. We've got some coverage from UFC Shanghai to get to before we cover a variety of topics today, including Rajah Jackson and some other news around the combat sports world as well. But Eddie, first let's jump into the China card that we had from last week, headlined by Johnny Walker and Zhang Ming Yang. Johnny Walker was able to get a TKO finish and got back in the win column last week. And Eddie, it was largely due to the leg kicks, though. Zhang dropped from the heavy leg kicks, and then the ground and pound was basically artificial after that. What did you think of Johnny Walker getting back in the win column, and how much of a threat do you think he can be moving forward at 205?
Shit, Johnny Walker told me to shut the fuck up. I had Zhang fucking his world up. I was like, there's no way Johnny Walker can do shit. And the first 10 seconds, and his ass was on the bottom already. I was like, oh, yeah, it's over. Zhang's going to fuck him up. For him to get back up, make that adjustment to attack the legs, and then finish him the way he did, I was like, hey, man, hey, Walker, you've earned the right to talk shit, bro. Talk all your shit. Everyone doubted you. You were the underdog. All kinds of shit came out. Got a finish on top of that in a homeboy's home country. Just honestly, great win for him. And it's nothing but up for Johnny Walker. Now, can he keep it up is the question.
Yeah, he even said that he thought that this was like a setup fight for him to lose in the other guy's country, a lot like what you just mentioned. But he was able to get it done there. We normally see Johnny Walker's fights end early. He's not a guy who normally goes the distance. In this fight, Eddie, he did show the low leg kicks and some more weapons on the feet than what we've seen previously. Were you impressed at all with the skill set of Johnny Walker? Or do you just think he's going to be one of these fighters that is either going to get finished or finish the other opponent here within the first couple rounds of basically every contest he goes into?
See, I'm wondering how much of that thought process is this whole idea right now where in the UFC, where if you don't get finishes, you don't get opportunities, right? And Johnny Walker's always been a guy that gets finished or finishes guys for the most part, so he can't get boring. I mean, that being said, did he change gyms? Are you still at SBG?
Yeah, I think he's pretty much at the same spot, but I was surprised he dropped. Like you were saying, he dropped early and tried to go for like a leg lock, kind of like what his brother Walter's been doing at heavyweight. I don't know what those guys have been doing with their jiu-jitsu recently, but they're certainly confident in it.
Yeah, they're doing what we're doing at Open Man on Saturdays and Sundays, just fucking around let's see what happens. Fucking try. Yeah, who's it? John Danaher. John Danaher's the one that says fucking try leg lock or whatever, or heel hook, try heel hook. Yeah, fucking try heel hook. Maybe he thought he was gonna catch Zhang by unaware or whatever, but no, it was hilarious, and I was like, yep, beginning of the end, and for him to come back and get it the way he did. No, I can't give him shit at all. Props to Johnny Walker. Now, I ask you this: who's next?
He got knocked out by Volkan Oezdemir. Mm-hmm. It seems like every time he moves up in the division, he gets turned back, right?
It's always like this.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him maybe. I mean, let me pull his record up here real quick. Let me pull his record up here because, like, off the top of my head, I'm thinking guys like Nikita Krylov. I'm thinking guys right outside that division or right outside that ranking, but I'm not trying to say someone that he's fought recently or anything like that. So let me look here.
I'll look up the UFC rankings. By the way, did you see the UFC webpage took down the fan rankings page?
Did they really?
They did. So bye-bye UFC roster watch, the asshole that bought both accounts. And there goes your whole shit, bro. You can go back to tweeting shit about people. Dickhead. Yeah, I have no respect for that dude.
So he had fought Nikita Krylov back in 2020. So those guys have previously competed against each other. But I think that he should be fighting somebody that's not necessarily going to put him into title contention, but is going to test him. Maybe an Alexander Rakic or someone like that.
I got a name for you.
Yeah.
Bogdan Guskov.
Okay. I like that. I like Bogdan.
Hey, I can't even take credit for that. Mathis, I'm kicking on. He's part of our team. Mathis Jordan wrote that. What's next for UFC Shanghai guys? And he came up with that, and I read it the other day, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I like it.
Yeah, I like that too. Bogdan's kind of been streaking. He's both of them have knockout power. Bogdan's got a good chin. That'd be an interesting fight.
Let me see if I can pull up his reasoning because I like what Mathis wrote about it. Here we go. All right, this is from Mathis. Okay, so he says Johnny Walker kept up with his whimsical tendencies, somehow ending up on bottom just 5 seconds into the fight. His opponent Zhang Mingyang had never won a fight that went past the first round, despite facing adversity. Yada yada. Let me get back to the Bogdan. Oh, here we go. He tried to call out Jan Blachowicz, but I'm doubtful this victory will move him up far up enough to warrant a name like that. Instead, I think the UFC probably just looks to book the Bogdan Guskov fight again. It was an intriguing matchup back when it was booked in January, but fast forward a couple wins for each, and it just got even more interesting. 100% agree with that. Both guys are coming off wins. I mean, whoever wants to get up in the top 10. I think Bogdan's number 10 right now, if I'm not mistaken. So the winner of this gets in the inside the top 10. You might be a fight away from a title shot if you do something impressive.
Yeah, he had a fight scheduled with Bogdan and a fight scheduled with Azamat Mirzakhanov. Both of those fell through. So, I mean, potentially either of those matchups could be next for Johnny Walker. But, Eddie, moving along down the card here, we had another 5-round matchup at UFC Shanghai featuring former champion in Aljamain Sterling, now at 145 pounds, competing against Brian Ortega, who couldn't make the scale. I got to ask your opinion about this, right? Because there were reports that he fell in the hotel room trying to make weight, fainted, maybe collapsed. If this were to have happened on American soil, Eddie, do you think this fight would have actually happened after that situation had occurred, or would they have pulled the fight if it was in America? Is there some difference between the jurisdiction in China and what we have in the U.S. to where – because I haven't heard of someone collapsing and then continuing to fight less than 24 hours after hearing that, and then the fight having to be moved to a different weight. They would just scrap it historically from what I've seen. So what was your opinion on that before we even get into the contest?
I think they would absolutely, positively not fucking allow that fight to happen because that is a health risk. Guys, understand this. When you cut weight, you're literally draining your body of water, right? All water is gone. You're literally taking as little water as possible. You're keeping just enough to stay alive. What else happens in there? Your brain does not have all the fluid it needs in it. That when you guys see guys that cut really like too much weight and then fight the next day and they get knocked out at one shot, right? TJ Dillashaw, for example, drained himself to shit, didn't have anything up there, crack, boom, the brain bounces around, everything shuts down like a Windows computer, right? So I thought it was stupid for him to fight, right? But 100% does not happen here, ever. I don't not see it. I've seen other people say like, "Oh, Vegas would allow it." No, the fuck they wouldn't. All right, New York would allow it. They didn't want me to fucking fight with fake boobs. Okay, y'all tripping. Like, they wouldn't happen in America, dude. Now China, it's a different game. You know why? UFC calls the shots there, not China.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking because like the commissions in Nevada, LA, anywhere where there's prominent fights historically, like when someone passes out, that's it. All right. You call the fight. But getting into the contest, though, Eddie, I mean, Aljamain Sterling was able to get this one done, unanimous decision, had some good body lock takedowns. Really, I thought some of his best moments were with that body lock position, being able to drag Brian Ortega to the ground. One time he kicked his back foot out and was able to drag him. Another time was just able to secure that single leg takedown against the cage. But Eddie, what did you make about the performance from Aljamain Sterling? There was a lot of talk online about people saying they didn't really necessarily like the output and performance from Ortega. Do you think he needs to move up to 145 pounds here as well? I think that's something that he should really consider, especially if he's having such trouble making this weight and the movement doesn't necessarily look like – he doesn't look like the Brian Ortega we saw 5-6 years ago, right? This isn't the same guy who fought Volk. So I'd like to see him maybe refresh the system, move up to 155 pounds. He's been talking about it for 2 or 3 fights now. I think that's probably a good decision for him. But Aljamain Sterling looked good. I had him winning this fight, obviously. What was your overall opinion, and obviously with the Ortega weight situation?
Ortega needs to move up. That cut has always sucked for him. Don't let him fool y'all, okay? He can say all he wants to is like, oh, I was younger. No. That cut always sucked for you, dude. That has never been a secret. All right. If you ever covered an official weigh-in, okay, and you just happen to be in the fighter hotel the day of, and that morning of, before the weigh-ins, you've seen that dude walk around looking like he's almost dead. That's not new. That's always been the same way. He always looks drawn out and like he's near death, right? What's helped him is that his fights are usually main card, if not co-main event. Those are usually where he fights. So he's able to. He gets more time to recover. But no, you need to move up, dude, just for your health. Like, not only you're older now, it's just harder. And the older you get, like even harder is going to get. At some point, 55 might be hard for him as well. you can screw your body up pretty good cut weight, like permanently. You can change your body up to where it's really hard. I can tell you from experience. I fucked up a handful of times, right? And so I don't cut weight anymore. Jiu-jitsu tournaments is whatever weight I'm at is what I'm entering in. Currently 185, so that kind of works. But it is what it is. With Aljo, you tell me what you think of this, because I thought watching the fight, I thought Aljo took it easy on him. I thought Aljo felt bad for him. I thought Aljo could have fucked him up. If Aljo put his foot on the gas, he could have fucked him up.
I feel like that's really the story of Aljo's career, other than the Dillashaw fight where Dillashaw really got injured, and I thought Dillashaw would have won that fight if he was a fully healthy TJ Dillashaw coming in there just stylistically. But other than that fight, the aggression from Aljamain Sterling really hasn't been there throughout his career. He's known as the backpack guy, right? He gets your back control. He takes the rounds, and eventually when they score him up at the end, he's got more than you, and that happens more times than not. But you're right, Eddie. The sense of urgency, the aggression to go for a finish just wasn't there. But am I surprised? I'm not really surprised, because we've seen it, countless times in the past. But Aljamain Sterling's not really a finisher, but he's a very technical fighter. He's someone who is skilled, and even as he gets older in age, he hasn't even got really to that point where he's taking on the new up-and-comers yet. He's in the back half of the top 10, and he's kind of trying to get washed out the division. He's turning that around and is still beating contenders here and trying to go towards a title opportunity, which, Eddie, is what he asked for after this win. Were you a little surprised with, you just mentioned the lack of aggression, the lack of excitement maybe in the contest from Sterling? Were you surprised he called for a title shot after this?
I'm not surprised. You got to shoot your shot. I mean? Like, he knew he was going to get it. You and I know he's not going to get it, right? And certainly not after this, right? He fought a depleted opponent and couldn't finish him. I mean, it was a gimme finish, in my opinion, for Aljo. This is not shitting on Aljo whatsoever. If you guys have watched Aljo through his career, not just these last few fights, through his career, even before he was champion, does he have finishes? Absolutely, he has finishes, all right? But he plays it safe. He's always played it safe because that's smart, okay? Why would you put yourself and your rank and your livelihood and your health and your roster spot in danger by going apeshit every fucking time you go in there, right? When you are as seasoned and as skilled as Aljo. So do not get it twisted. Aljo's one of the best fighters in the UFC, not in the featherweight division. In the UFC, you can hate me all you want to about that, but watch his fights, look at the results. Good and damn well that I'm right. All right, forget the way you thought. First of all, Piotr Jan fucked himself. That's what happened. He played himself. That's what happened. You can't get mad at that, folks. He played himself. That was a dumbass foul to do. Okay, that wasn't John Jones doing it to Anthony.
We'll talk about Kiefer Crosby, which happened over the weekend as well. But
right after that. But right before that. But but either way, bottom line with Aljo, he's never been a guy that's gonna finish everybody. Where you're just like, oh yeah, kill or be killed. He had a shot right here to take Brian Ortega's name and run with it and finish this dude, and he didn't go for it. He still played it safe. He played his game. Hey, all respect to you, but do not call for Alexander Volkanovski when that's what you're going to do.
Especially after Lerone Murphy just did what he did to Aaron Pico. It's like
Lerone flatline Aaron Pico. We watched Aaron Pico lay there for like 2, 3, 4 minutes almost without moving. We were concerned about his well-being. Like, we're looking in the cage like, God damn, he's not moving. When he finally sat up, I'm like, thank God. Oh, my God. Like, we were all relieved. We thought he was legitimately, like fucked.
Sure, yeah.
So, no, Lerone's going to get that shot. Lerone Murphy, by the way, put respect to Lerone Murphy's name, people. I know he's English. I know he don't talk a lot of shit. He's a goddamn good-ass fighter.
Yeah, Eddie, we go from one fight here that you were maybe a little bit disappointed in Aljamain Sterling. I've been a little bit disappointed with Sergey Pavlovich in the last couple contests, Eddie. He's gone to decision with Rosenstrike. Honestly, after he got technically beat apart by Volkov and then lost to Tom Aspinall, I feel like his confidence is absolutely shot. This is not the same Sergey Pavlovich who tied the UFC record with Don Fry for 6 consecutive finishes in the first round. It's just not. Waldo Cortez Acosta had a jab and a big baseball overhand right. That's all he had for him. And Sergey literally, he stalked it. Sure, he stalked him down. He made him fight off the back foot the whole fight. And he won the contest, no doubt about it. But this is a guy who I feel like 3 years ago, before those contests with Aspinall and Volkov, he would have absolutely dusted through Waldo Cortez Acosta. Mm-hmm. And that's no disrespect, but this guy's not a lifelong martial artist. He is a good athlete who technically has picked up some skills and is very mentally strong as a former professional athlete for the Cincinnati Reds when he played baseball. But he's a former baseball player, Eddie. Sergey Pavlovich should put this guy out in the first round if he's firing on all cylinders. And to me, it doesn't really seem like right now Sergey is in his best form.
The thing about Sergey after that Tom Espinal loss, if you guys remember that fight, I don't think that fight was supposed to happen. That was a short notice fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After he got finished there, he's been doing that. He just takes it easy. Not easy. He tries to be more methodical. He tries to be more like a complete fighter and all that instead of going and trying to kill people because it bit him in the ass with Tom. It was not going to bite him in the ass with Waldo. Waldo is as kill or be killed as it gets. Like you said, overhand right. That's what he's got, right? And if he lands it, okay. But if you know it's coming, you can prepare for that. So I think you're right. I think Sergey's confidence is shot to shit after losing to Tom. And I don't expect him to get any favors in the UFC, even at heavyweight.
This is the best analogy that I could make. Sergey is a sports car. He's a Lamborghini, but he got into an accident on the interstate, and it went back to the shop. The accident was Tom Aspinall, right? And now he's back behind the wheel in that same sports car, but he's scared to take it up over 100 miles an hour again because he knew what happened that first time. And he's driving himself like he's a mom van or something and taking everything so cautiously in every one of these fights that he's not fighting to his own style. And it's kind of disappointing to see, especially when we won action in the heavyweight division. And he was one of the guys that we could always count on for action. On paper, everybody was like, wow, this is going to be a banger fight. Somebody's going to go to sleep here probably in the first round. Let's see who the best brawler is in the division maybe. And, I can't even say that Pavlovich is the best brawler. Maybe we have to start throwing him back to guys like Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa just to see if he still has it with his confidence.
Confidence, man, as a baseball player, once your confidence is out, you're done. Your career's over. Quarterback, you lose your confidence, just go. Or accept the backup role for the rest of your career. But we don't need you. Point guard, especially a point guard. If you lose your confidence, see ya. Over in basketball, right? Confidence is key. But in fighting, when you're not on a field or a court or on the ice, we have teammates that can cover your ass and your deficiencies and everything and your insecurities and your lack of confidence. But you don't have those people around you. You're in there by yourself with the world watching. It affects you tenfold. Okay, 100% with you. Knock him down at the guys like Derek Lewis and put him, not like teach him a lesson, but like, hey man, I'm gonna give you somebody and talk to him about it. That's what I would do. If I'm the UFC, like, we're gonna give you Derek Lewis. Okay, Derek Lewis has been knocked out. He's been beat up. He knocks people out too, 100%. All right, but this is a fight. You can get if you get this guy. That's a big name to put on your resume. All right, go for it. If you don't go for it, you're literally telling us like, hey, I don't want no more opportunities. I just want to fight for a check. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. Great. But do not get on the mic after a boring ass win and be like, oh, give me Tom Espinal or give me whoever. No, you can't ask for shit when you fight like that. I think it's 100% a confidence issue. Let me look at him before, right? Literally the videos of that fight week with Tom Aspinall. You remember that video of him on the beach, just fucking like shadow boxing for a heavyweight, moving that quick was insane. I was like, dude, this is gonna be a crazy fight with Tom.
Yeah,
Tom landed first. It's what it is. So yeah, 100%. Notch him, pop him back down for a lower level of opponents and see if he still wants it. And if he wants it, great. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
Yep. I agree with you 100%. Eddie, is there another fight on this card that you think we should talk about before we move on to the PFL and LFA cards from last week?
Ooh, let me see. We'll talk about this Kiefer Crosby real quick in a second, but real quick on Pavlovich. I know I didn't ask you, man, and give me who you think, right? But I like what Matt just put on our What's Next for the Winners article on KSIPress.com. Make sure you guys check that out. He suggested the winner of Marcin Tybura versus Ante Delija. All right, that is 100% a step down. Say what you want about Marcin Tybura, but he ain't knocking nobody out.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he got one, but either way. But I like
TKO from he got ground and pound or something.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. He takes you down, he beats you up on the ground, great, right? But I think the winner of Tybura Delija would be a good opponent for Pavlovich to get back in the win column, honestly.
And that would be a step down in comp, just like we were talking about.
Exactly. I think it's a great move.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting as well. But this Kiefer Crosby matchup, Eddie, he could have took easy way out in this one. Like I was talking to my friend, this knee compared to the one Aljamain Sterling took, this is one of the worst knees I've ever seen someone fight through, right? Mark Goddard, to his credit, did everything he could except disqualify Nurajai here. And what happened was Kiefer was trying to get up off the ground after a takedown, and his knees were still planted. But Nurajai landed a really big knee to the head of his own, and then followed it up with punches and just busted Kiefer up. His nose was bleeding, visible damage from the knee that was done. Mark Goddard grabbed him immediately, deducted 2 points, which means that Nurajai would have had to finish the contest in order to win. So I liked that move by Mark Goddard. I thought that was the best thing he could have done instead of disqualifying and just stopping the matchup altogether. He also probably could have gone in the direction of a no contest for an illegal shot or for an accidental shot, pardon me. But for Kiefer Crosby, he's as tough as they come fighting through it. He was a big underdog coming into the contest, really wasn't finding much success in the matchup, and could have took the easy way out to maybe get another paycheck in the UFC. I think his toughness should be rewarded by the promotion. I know he doesn't have the best record in the world. I think he's around 11-6 now. But I feel like should get another matchup and another paycheck after fighting through a little adversity there. What do you think of that whole situation, Eddie?
See, I'm kind of on the other side of that. You came in, if you're Kiefer Crosby, you came in on a 2-fight losing streak. This is 3, okay? We know how this game works. I know the UFC is like, oh, we'll help him out, whatever. It doesn't matter. If he gets another fight and he loses that's 4 in a row, they're going to cut him, okay? Yeah, I get it. You're going to check, great. If I was Mark Goddard, I would have been like, nah, no contest. Fuck out of here with that shit. Not only did you land an illegal knee, that you kept landing shots after that. Like, no, dude, you can't fucking do that. You busted him open. That illegal shot, like, clearly compromised Crosby. Clearly compromised. He was fucked up after that. That's why I ended in the first round. There was nothing left for him. So, if I'm Goddard, I would have got I would have told the crowd to go fuck themselves. I mean, 100% would have been no contest.
He's their hometown boy. I feel like that's the only reason
That's the only reason I think too. Like, I think it should have been no contest, maybe even a DQ. Because, come on, dude, how the fuck, right? Now I get it in the action and all that, right? But you need to be able to police your weapons, right? You need to know where those things are landing. You're a martial artist. You know where that thing landed. Don't keep going with fucking punches. You knew that shit was illegal. And if you didn't know that was illegal, you're a dumbass. That's all it is. Like, either way, not a good look. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it should have been a no contest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Just wanted to highlight that matchup. I'm going to have to go and see what they say on weighing in this week to see what Big John says about that situation and how Mark Goddard handled it. But
Big John's going to be like, oh, no, I should have been a body. If I didn't see a body, I ain't calling shit.
I love listening to his referee analysis. He called it like it was when Herb couldn't make it in there for the Jacker Manson stoppage. He's like, he was late. So I appreciate the honesty even when they are his friends and stuff like that. But moving on down here from last weekend, let's get to the PFL matchups, Eddie, because there were 3 world titles that were decided in Miami, Florida at the Hard Rock Seminole Casino. I was there as well as Gabriel Gonzalez. He was handling a lot of the stuff behind the scenes in the backstage, talking to everybody, and I was doing articles. It was a really great event, 3 title fights, and Fabian Edwards head kicks Dalton Rasta, closing the show exactly how Leon Edwards did 3 years ago. Eddie, it was awesome. It was one of the best knockouts that I've seen live. Rasta had won those first 2 rounds in the main event. He had looked good with the wrestling. And some people were texting me saying that Dalton Rasta gassed in the fight. I don't think that's it at all. I think that maybe he was gassed a little bit in that 3rd round. He wasn't going for the wrestling like he was, but he tried to block low for that kick to the body, and the kick ended up coming high. And I really just think there was a misjudgment there in the placement of where that kick was going, and it costed him. And I think that it was just, he got hit with a shot he didn't see coming. I don't think that he was gassed. He looked good in those first 2 rounds, and it wasn't as if he was, back up against the fence and reeling and like we saw these heavy breaths coming from Dalton Rasta. But this head kick by Fabian Edwards, this was the statement moment of Fabian Edwards' entire career. He's always been this guy who has gotten to the title, been a dangerous challenger against Johnny Eblen and other people as well. So for him to go and capture a world championship like this, just how his brother did 3 years previously, I thought is one of the biggest stories I've had the pleasure to cover in mixed martial arts in my time covering the PFL as well. So it was a great moment for Fabian Edwards and English MMA altogether. Eddie, what did you think of the main event here and Dalton Rasta's title run coming to an end?
So a few things. Before he fought Josh Silveira in fucking June, I think it was. Chicago, yeah. I got to interview Fabian, and I was like, I asked him, I was like, hey man, when you win that title, man, you're gonna call mom like your brother did? Like, Mom, I did it. I told you I'd do it. He was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing that. Fabian, I hope like hell you got that call. Can you imagine being his mom and both your sons are champions? The fuck? Like, that is amazing. Yeah. From overseas. They're immigrants coming all the way over here, whooped ass and got belts and money. They got paid. It's awesome. Second, the Leon kick. Man, he did it exactly like his brother did. Almost exactly like to a T how his brother did it. It was beautiful. Third, Dalton Ross getting knocked out. Yeah, bro, you mouthed way too damn much, bro. Like, don't mess with those quiet boys, man. Don't mess with the Leon Murphy or the Lerone Murphys. Don't mess with the Leon Edwards. Don't mess with those quiet guys are assassins. When you talk too damn much, you can wrestle your ass off all you want to and be this buffed ass dude and all that stuff. You're gonna pay for that for whatever checks your mouth wrote. Your ass better cash, right? So, and then when they showed Dakota on the screen, I was like, oh, dude, like Dakota going like that. I was like, who allowed that?
What do you think about that, Eddie? Because Jake was getting flack online, viewer of the show and one of our colleagues as well. Jake was saying that, you shouldn't have done that. That's your top star. Kind of disrespected her by showing that live. I agree, honestly, but people were saying that it was a soft take. I mean, you don't want to disrespect that your number one star, right? And Dakota Ditcheva brings in the money for them. That's why people watch. They promoted her with the PFL Africa card to get people to tune in, and it was largely successful. If that girl wants to go to the UFC and stop fighting for you because she feels disrespected and she's going to sit out for a certain amount, whatever, that's the last thing you want right now if you're the PFL and your contract's coming up with ESPN and you're renegotiating and you're trying to build forward. I just thought it was a little bit of a tone-deaf move, by them. I didn't think it was a soft take when Jake came and put that out online. I agreed with it, honestly, 100%. Because, listen, if Conor McGregor is still the number one star in the UFC, you're not going to go and do something that's going to humiliate or embarrass your number one star. And they're playing it soft, and everybody knows Dalton Ross and Dakota are dating and all this, and they're playing it soft. They're not going out there and making like cheesy things like they could as a promotion and making these two do
like Paige Van Zandt and Austin.
Yeah.
Mr. Van Zandt.
I understand it to an extent, but you don't want as a promotion to piss off your stars, and I feel like they took a big risk in that.
I mean, they could have, and I'm sure Dakota's probably like, it doesn't matter, outwardly, but inside, I guarantee she feels it, right? Was it a soft take that Jake made? No, absolutely not. The only people that call that soft are soft ass motherfuckers. That's what it is, right? It's all just projecting. Like, I'm tough. Look at me. I think it's soft, but you're soft. You're softer than fucking Charmin, bro. All right. Mm-hmm. People with integrity, people that fought, people that are actual tough people are like, damn, because they've seen it before in person. I've seen people get knocked out. You've seen people get knocked out in person, and you're just like, man, they're fan. The one thing you do not want to like embarrass their family.
Regional MMA. It's the worst thing about covering regional MMA.
You can see their family.
Exactly. When we're covering UFC and PFL, there's thousands of people there, and the noise is drowned out. But a lot of people bring their young kids and wives. And when you're at regional MMA and you're first starting out as a reporter or whatever, watching fights, you'll see people crying and stuff. People, their sons are not. It's not the greatest scene in the world. So
it happened. It happened at LFA It happened at LFA on Friday. My boy Chris McCarthy he lost. It wasn't like he got knocked out. He got TKO'd because he got his nose busted. He was cut up on the right shore, but he got his nose busted and then he blew his nose, unfortunately, and the fight ended that way. The thing is, he's a California guy. That event was in Ventura, 2 hours from where he lives. He had a big crowd coming. The whole Bloodline team had a big crowd coming, and you could see the people in the crowd like super somber, seeing him bloodied, not being able to see out of his eye and all shit. It's rough, and he didn't even get knocked out. There was a couple knockouts on there. We saw their corners and their families going, like this. It's like, you know what LFA didn't do? Show them a fucking camera. I get it. PFL wanted the ratings. They wanted the clip. Congratulations, Don. Congratulations, PFL. You got your fucking clip. It went viral. Enjoy yourself. And all the soft-ass bitches on here going, it's fucking soft. I don't give a shit. You softer than Charmin, dog. 100%. It's not about soft. It's not about tough. It's about respect.
Exactly.
If you're not going to respect your fighters, what are you going to do? Right? I don't expect. I don't.
Long, yeah.
100%. I don't expect fans to respect fighters, not whatsoever, because fans are watching. They're not fighting. They're not doing it. Yeah. Right? I mean, how many times have we seen a better online, like fucking DM a fighter? It's like, you fucked up my parlay. So, I hope you lost everything, dog. I hope you bet the house. I really did. Fuck you. All right? Yeah. But this is a respect thing, 100%. So, if you don't want to understand it, you want to call us off, go ahead, call us off. You're just showing
the thing is, we see up close and personal more than anything. Crazy. We see the interpersonal communication between these things and what pisses people off and this sort of stuff. Listen, last year, I was covering the semifinals, and Dennis Goltsov beat Tim Johnson, right? And there wasn't somebody there to translate really for Dennis Goltsov, so he didn't get asked a question. The look on his face leaving the semifinal, because he didn't get asked a question, he looked like he was just like shocked and ashamed. Yeah. I knew he was going to come into that final against Popov with a point to prove, because he just was not being, he felt like he was being disrespected, right? And it's not the same thing, and it's different, and she's not the one competing and being disrespected. But, I just didn't like the move by the PFL. But moving along down the card here, Eddie, great win by Fabian Edwards. But moving along down here, the PFL card, Sullivan Cauley and we can get to Romanov and Popov first. That wasn't the most entertaining contest, but
it wasn't.
Popov beat Romanov by split decision. I'm interested to see what you had in this one. I thought Popov was the more aggressive fighter, landed takedowns and spurts, but Eddie, these guys hugged each other in the clinch for 20 minutes. I have never seen a guy. Listen, I've seen fights controlled against the cage for that long in the clinch, but in the open mat, when in the open cage, when you're hugging each other in the middle of the cage where there's no fence around you or anything, you guys are just both like simultaneously coming to the agreement that we're just going to sit here and stall. I haven't seen that in that position for a good long time.
What did I take from this fight? A nap. I took a nap.
Yeah.
Shit was boring as hell. Look, Papa is not entertaining. Romanov was never entertaining. I don't know what people expect out of this fight. No, I'm not disrespecting guys. I'm just saying that's what they are. That's how they fight, right? And when you get two guys that like to wet blanket for the most part and not put themselves in any kind of risk whatsoever, that's the fight you're gonna get. And I feel like they knew that, and it is what it is. Honestly, that's all I have on that one. Like, I was expecting nothing from this fight.
Yeah. We'll move on down the card here. So this was actually a great fight. One of the fights, best fights I've been able to cover in person. Sullivan Cauley versus Antonio Carlos Jr. 2021 winner Antonio Carlos Jr. gets back his championship here in another world tournament victory, this time defeating Sullivan Cauley, who was the upstart light heavyweight trained with Ryan Bader, former Bellator heavyweight and light heavyweight champion. Sullivan was a really good wrestler in college. He showed his hands. He just beat Phil Davis after he, finished Alex Polizzi in the opening round, beat Phil Davis by split decision in the semifinal round, was favored in this contest over Antonio Carlos Jr. But Eddie, from the opening bell, he got cracked with a straight left almost like 10 seconds into the contest. And from there, he did a good job not getting finished, right, in the first minute, because he was backpedaling and he was doing his best not to show Antonio Carlos Jr. that he was hurt. But he was significantly damaged. And then he ended up cracking Antonio Carlos Jr. when he was coming forward, which led to him trying to finish the fight on the ground. When he went to finish the fight on the ground, Eddie, he was hit by an up kick and was knocked down again. So there was like 2 to 3 knockdowns within the first 2 minutes of this fight. And these guys were just battered and bruised from a minute and 30 into the fight. So what did you think of this one? It ended up ending in the second round when Antonio Carlos Jr. was able to get back control on Sullivan Cauley and eventually get a submission. He's the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, world title Jiu-Jitsu competitor in the past. Obviously one of the most experienced fighters PFL has. What did you make of him getting back into the title realm here in the promotion? And I don't think this is the end for Sullivan Cauley. I think for Sullivan Cauley, this is actually a learning experience, and we're going to see his best moving forward.
You said it, learning experience, because you know why? Look at that record. Look at the years, look at the age and all that. The experience factor was massive for Cara Zapato, right? Shoeface had it. And watching the fight, because it didn't last very long, right? 2 rounds. But watching the fight, I was like, man, this Shoeface knows what he can do where, in what spots. He knew Cauley was going to be tough. He knew Cauley was going to come in and try to wrestle and all that. And he used it to his advantage. He's like, I've seen this fucking movie a million times. You ain't doing shit to me, son. And he didn't do shit to him. I mean, I hurt him, sure. But in terms of like beating him and everything, I think it was experience, man. I think experience got him. Now, this is probably the best experience for Sullivan Cauley. And I know it sounds weird to say that because he lost. But the more it hurts, the more this dude's going to get back in the practice room and just bust his ass. I'm expecting not only a better Sullivan Cauley next time around, not just a more experienced Sullivan Cauley, all right, but I'm expecting a savage Sullivan Cauley next round. A guy that's like, no, fuck that. That's not going to happen to me again. I'm winning this bitch next year, and I hope I see Shoeface in the final. That's the Sullivan Cauley we're going to get next year, I think. And it's going to be huge.
Yeah, I think he'll have a chip on his shoulder, somebody who would be like a hardened competitor with a point to prove through the whole tournament. So he's definitely someone to look out for moving forward here and he's a massive 205-pound guy, right? So I think this is somebody that, like, when he gets into his late 30s and even maybe into 40, he's somebody that's athletic enough to stick around, like just like Ryan Bader, until he's later in age. So Sullivan Cauley's going to be around for a good long time, and this is not the last we will see of him. This was a great fight, though. I thought this was the best fight on the whole card.
Oh, easily fight of the night. I was just like, holy shit, I'm actually waiting for this one. Let's go. That was fun.
Yeah. So you were actually in Ventura, California last week covering a big LFA event, and LFA had some big news of their own. We briefly talked about it last week. Gable Stevenson, I know Eddie hasn't been here for a couple weeks. We've been running around the globe. He's been in California. I've been in Florida. Finally back together. But Gable Stevenson signed to the LFA. Eddie, what was the pop around the arena surrounding Gable and the big news of his debut? I believe it's September 12th. What was the vibe in the stadium around that? And then altogether the event for LFA, what was that like?
I'm trying to remember if I'm allowed to say this part or not. I don't know his opponent. Don't worry. But
it got announced. It's a white guy who is.
Yeah, it's announced now. Yeah. No, it's a different thing. Yeah, I can't say that. I'll tell you afterwards. Anyway, but it's massive. It's everyone was talking about it in the arena before. We're talking to the PR people. Shout out Carly. She's awesome. Talking to my fellow media guys, Michael Hernandez at MLH Media. Dan from Fight Wave and photographer friends and all that, but it was it's intriguing because you don't know what he's gonna have. Okay, what are you hoping for? A DC part 2, Daniel Cormier part 2. That's what you're hoping for, right? You're hoping that he's developed his hands. He's been training with John Jones, and all that. Develop his hands and everything, and still has that high level wrestling that you get like a DC part 2, right? Just a heavyweight, because Gable Stevens is a massive human being, but. It's just intriguing. The best way I could put it is intriguing, right? Because LFA is the way to get to the UFC. So that's the move. He's gonna try and get a fight. I think he fights, wins, and I think they put him in a title fight pretty quick. And then he tries to get into the Contender Series or get signed up straight out. But it's about damn time, man. I don't know why he was messing with WWE. First of all, if you're gonna go to WWE or pro wrestling anywhere, if you can't use the microphone, do not get in there, please. Because no longer is it the world was like, yeah, he's a great wrestler, but he can't talk for shit. We're going to put a manager on him. No, it's over. You need to be able to talk. And Gable Stevenson, sorry, buddy, you can't talk entertaining. You are not entertaining talker whatsoever.
Yeah. Kind of is what it is. But what he can do is wrestle. And he's an Olympic gold medalist. And honestly, Eddie, when I was getting into this sport, 2011, 2012, watching as a fan when I was in middle school, in elementary school, like, the biggest prospects were the Olympic wrestlers. It was DC. It was Cejudo. It was Ronda. It was Sarah McMahon. Those are the people we really got excited for moving forward. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing to me, right? Because we've been talking about American wrestling. We've been talking about Bo Nickel. We've been talking about how for a couple weeks now here, we've been talking about how the American wrestlers aren't champions and it's not working out at really any of the weight classes. And it's not like it used to be in 2003 and 2004. I don't think that necessarily applies at the heavyweight division. I think that he is, one, a better athlete, which Josh Hokett showed last week on the Dana White Contender Series. You can get by, and Waldo Cortez Acosta shows every time he's out there, you can get by on pure athleticism without lifelong skill at the heavyweight division. Mm-hmm. He has the skill and he has the athleticism, right? All he's got to do is take fights to the ground and not have someone defend against the takedown and keep the fight standing. But when you look at the heavyweight division right now, Eddie, he's probably 3 wins away from getting thrown into the UFC. When we saw Robelis Despain on the regional scene, Robelis Despain knocked out 4 dudes, I think it was. He was thrown in there real quick, and they kind of tried to fast track him. So I think that he goes here and gets 2-3 wins in the LFA, goes into a Contender Series like we saw Bo Nickel. They'll kind of use him. And then promote him into there. But this is a guy with, I think, 10 fights or less is going to be seeing legitimate competition in the UFC.
I agree with you. We need to see his finishes from him. You can't go to the LFA and get 5 decisions and expect to be in the UFC whatsoever. It's not going to work. We need finishes, and that's the league where you can go and get finishes, right? It's a really good promotion, 100%, right? But let's not pretend like this isn't like
if you're an elite talent, it'll be shown that you're an elite talent.
I'll give you this. You're younger you're way younger than me. But you remember Matt Leinart? You ever watch him play in college?
Yeah, USC. Then he played for Arizona.
Okay, he sucked here. He was ass in the pros. Okay, you know why? Everyone else is a fucking elite athlete. In USC, it was him and Reggie Bush and Landale White and that fucking crazy receiving core against a bunch of dudes that had a 7 a.m. Biology class the next day, dog. That's what it was. So they dominated. So of course they look like world beaters, right? So it has to look like that. It has to look like he is a world beater in LFA, and then get into the UFC, and then he has to grab his nuts and stack up. If I can prove that he can belong, and I think he does. I think he does win. I think he gets in there. Now I'm not gonna pretend that Gabriel Stevens is gonna be a champion in the UFC, right? Unless I see the hands. If he comes up with it, man, if he can just go and train with Daniel Cormier and be, hey man, whatever you did, put me through it.
You know who I think he needs to train with legitimately is Curtis Blades.
Yeah,
that's the toughest matchup for him in the heavyweight division before he gets the title. And if you can go in there and get familiar with Curtis, and Curtis is a guy who was national champion junior college, obviously not the same level as Gable, but if you can see how he kind of translated that in with his hands, Curtis is no slouch with the hands. You learn from a guy like that. Also, the guy who's probably your biggest competition once you get there. I think that's probably a smart decision if he would go and train with Curtis. But he's training with John. He's training with Gordon Ryan. He's got a lot of money and backers behind him. He's going to get the best training partners.
Cormier was at LFA 215. He was there working with Chapolin, right? The co-main event flyweight champion, regained his title. You know what they were training, and I can say this now because I was actually watching them warm up, wrestling, takedown defense. And he was showing Chapolin things, and he was just like literally after the fight, Chapolin runs over DC on the set, and DC's fucking hopping up and down, happy as shit. And Chapolin's like, hey, you see what I did? I got the underhooks and pushed him down, dude. It's fucking awesome, man. DC's like, I fucking told you, I told your ass, right? And DC is a great coach. Like, just from what I did for the 10 minutes I saw him warm up, that warm up with Chapolin, or put him through warm-ups. He didn't want with him, but put him through warm-ups and teach him things. DC's a hell of a coach. Like, I want to see DC. DC has his own place called the Academy now. Right, and he's gonna be training guys. I think training guys and everything. But it's I want to see him. I want to see him. I know, and I like the Curtis Blades idea probably a little bit better than DC idea. But I would love to see him in there with DC, honestly. And then take him to AKA. Right? What do they say? The Santo Daga Center forget 2-3 years, brother. Like, do that. Except to striking, go to AKA. Yeah, my opinion.
Yeah, I just don't know who they like. It was great for DC right back in the day because he had Kane. He had Kane with him, right? Yeah. He had Luke Rockhold with him for a longer, and Luke would walk around like 220 out of fight shape, so he'd be like a heavyweight and be a long rangey guy for him. So there were different styles in the gym. I don't really know what AKA has right now from heavyweight divisions.
No, I don't know for sure either, but they do have Javier Mendez, who's a great fucking striking coach.
Yep,
and
you're right.
Go there, learn the skill set, and then they will find training partners for this guy. That's not a problem. They'll bring in training partners, not hard at all. And who knows, maybe they have some heavyweights in there. But I think he's going to stick around with Jackson Wink and train with the GOAT, John Jones, and those guys. So we'll see what happens, man. But I'm excited about it. I want to see what he does.
So quickly, Eddie, we did have Dana White Contender Series last night. 5 knockouts on the show. I was impressed with Barboza with some other guys. Who were really your standouts? Was there a guy that you saw last night that you're like, man, this guy's gonna be legit?
Let me get his name out here because I know I had it. I watched the whole thing.
We covered Manel Souza in Bellator, and this was his debut as well.
I like Barboza. I like Souza a lot. Souza, that's the one. Souza. I was impressed with Sosa the most.
Back in the day.
Way back in the day. No, but the fact, did you see Perez go after his ass? Like he owed him money? Like that
was a good fight.
He was beating the dog shit out this boy, right? Throwing him around, taking his back, fucking him up, body triangle. Sousa would work his way out. Nah, bitch, you're staying here. Body triangle, going for it, cracking him and everything. And to come back and put it on Perez to get the finish. Look, we talk about it all the time, right? During fights, we're just like, this guy going to the third round. He needs a finish or he's fucked. 99.9% of the time, what happens? Not that shit. 0.1% of the time, this motherfucker pulled it off. It was awesome. I'm super happy for Sousa. And I think I can't remember if it was him or Barboza. I want to say it was Barboza that hasn't seen his family in 4 years. So it wasn't Sousa. But either way, I was impressed with Sousa. Barboza has nuclear weapons for hands. God damn it. This dude can crack anybody. He's gonna be so much fun to see him in there, especially because they're gonna start him off obviously lower level. But he's the one that hasn't seen his family in 4 years. Like shout out Pat Dana for the great coverage she's doing down there right now.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to cover guy or you want to see coverage from guys on the regional scene coming up through Contender Series and know their backstories going into these events, and also maybe get a little bit of information if you're a bettor out there, Pat Dana on our site here on Cage Side Press. He's also on Instagram. I think his name is just Pat Dana, Danna there, if you guys want to give him a follow on Instagram. But he does great coverage for us. He's there in Las Vegas for the rest of the month covering Dana White Contender Series. So we're posting on the Cage Side Press Instagram page all of those face-offs and stuff. Got some good traction there. And if you guys want to see those before they fight, you can check out our Instagram page there where Pat Dana's. But
real quick before we move on, this on the LFA thing, just a couple things. Main event, Richard Miranda retains his lightweight title. Call him up already, please. Call him up. Call this guy 6 fights in a row, 6 wins in a row, and title defense, won the title, defended it. Call him up already, Dana. What are you doing? Chris McArthur will be back. But Eric Visconde is a fun and super fucking hilarious, like super happy dude. I got to talk to him afterwards, and he was like, my English is not so good. And I'm like, mine either, bro. Don't worry about it. We were fucking talking and shit. Super fun guy. Pantoja was there. That was a fun interview.
Yeah, you just got to talk to Pantoja. What was that like?
Fucking incredible, because it's exactly what I figured it would be. I was just like, I'm gonna ask him the shortest question. He's gonna give me like a 5-minute answer, and bam, he did exactly that, and it was great. Cool guy. And we got to talk off. Oh, here's a funny one. This might piss some people off. Okay, it will piss some people off. I started talking to Pantoja. Right, this is behind the scenes. I started talking to Pantoja. And this, you know what? I'm gonna save this for afterwards, because this is definitely, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna keep it between me and you. I'll tell you afterwards. But anyway, that was cool. Callum Walsh was there, co-main event for the Canelo card. His girl was there. You know, she just found out she had elbows last fight out, taking out Amanda Ribas. Who else is there?
Oh, he's dating Tabitha Ricci, isn't he?
Yeah, that's his girl. Yeah, Baby Shark. And then, look, man, if you haven't got, if an LFA comes to your town, damn it, go. It is a fun. Even you, if you want to do, you're not covering media, fucking go. Regional events are so much fun because you never know who's going to show up ever. DC was there, so it was cool. Yeah,
you get access to guys like when I was at the XFC event covering there, they had Jeremy Stevens and Cejudo, and you could just go up and talk to him. So it was. What's up? Yeah, it was awesome. So
I was kicking it with Le'Heon Douglas competes on September 9th with Dana White Contender Series. I was shooting shit with him afterwards. Shout out Le'Heon, little girl on the way. Congratulations to you and your lady. That's fucking awesome. But it's just fucking dope to talk to these guys.
Are you gonna go to Gable Stevenson's debut, Eddie?
I cannot. I'm pretty sure I have something that night. It's in Minnesota. So LFA 220, I think. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm not gonna go to that one. I'm actually scheduled for the Arizona one in October, which might be 220, but I'm not. But I don't think he's coming to that one. The next LFA I'm going to is here in Arizona in October, and I'm hyped as fuck for it. So yeah.
But before we get into the Rajah Jackson situation, there was another announcement, or we finally got finalized Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane. That was a matchup that everybody knew was coming up, but that's going to be in Abu Dhabi, UFC 221, I believe. Is the card number
320, there. 320, isn't it?
Or I'm sorry, 220. Yeah, 321. I'm sorry.
Let me make sure. Yeah, 321. You're right.
321. Yeah. So, Eddie, what do you think when we're sitting here? Listen, if Ciryl Gane goes in here and upsets Tom Aspinall, it really puts a damper in the heavyweight division right now, right? Because John Jones isn't going to come back to fight Ciryl Gane after he already dusted him in a minute. It's kind of like John rides off into the sunset. So, Tom Aspinall's got to handle business here, Eddie. Do you think that pressure, the added pressure to get that Jones fight or become the next heavyweight star, do you think that's going to be too much for Tom Aspinall before he can even get out of the starting blocks here against Ciryl Gane?
No. Tom Aspinall's been the champion. Like he's known it. Again, we talked about confidence earlier, right? With Sergey and all that. Tom Aspinall is just gleaming. He's oozing confidence from everywhere, and so he's one of those guys that he's always felt he was champion. Even when he was interim, Johnny ain't defending, so I'm the legit champion. So no, the pressure ain't gonna get to him. I don't see anything Ciryl Gane can do to stop him outside of Tom blowing his knee out again. Outside of that, here's the interesting thing, because you say if Ciryl Gane pulls it off, Ciryl Gane, if he pulls it off, okay. And John Jones comes back to fight him for the title, he will not be able to avoid the quacking in the arena, boy.
My,
dude, I will be there quacking along with everybody else, and I hate that shit. Calling him a duck, oh, he's ducking. No, that is certifiable right there, mother, dude. If he comes back like, oh shit, gone one, hey, I'm coming right back. You know who else did that? Ronda Rousey. Remember Ronda Rousey came back? She's like, oh shit, oh Amanda Nunes is champion now. And remember she texted Dana, like, I guess I'm coming back. What happened to Ronda? Exactly. Sir, do not duck. Okay, let it go. All right. In fact, I just want John Jones to go away. Honestly, I'll just retire and go away. I'm done. This is worse than Brett Favre in my mind. Worse than Brett Favre. Brett Favre, like you expected when he retired. When he retired from the Packers, and you were too young, but when he retired from the Packers,
I was named after Brett Favre. Come on.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
And you're a Bears fan?
I am. Yeah, my dad's a diehard Packers fan though.
Oh, y'all gotta throw some fisticuffs over there, bro. Y'all hate each other. Anyway, but that's fucking crazy, dog. I remember Aaron Rodgers comes like, I owned Chicago. Anyway, but no, that threw me off. Anyway, but Brett Favre retired. When he first retired, everybody knew Brett Favre was gonna come back, right? Try to screw Aaron Rodgers, but whatever. Moves on fucking, was it Minnesota first or New
Jets?
York? The Jets. Went to the Jets, then went off to Minnesota and whatever else, right? With John Jones, don't do that. Just go away. Just go away. I don't care anymore. Like
the thing is, Eddie, when and this applies to Brett Favre too, because at the time, like Brady and Manning were on the come up, but Favre was established from the 90s, right? Oh, yeah. He was still hanging around from when Aikman was there and
Gunslinger.
Elway. He was the young buck back then. Mm-hmm. So he's the established star. How do you just let the reins go of something that is your whole life? Everybody knows you as the gunslinger Brett Favre. Everybody knows you as the baddest man on the planet, John Jones. It's so hard to let it go when you still have the ability to lead a team. And even like when Brett Favre, that's a good example you brought up, when he played for the Vikings and was 43, I think, and they made that last title push, he still proved that he had a little bit of juice left. And I think that John Jones has the juice. It's just that, are we going to pay to see him and stuff,
Brett Favre was one really shitty across-the-body throw away from fucking going to the Super Bowl, I think, or at least
Adrian Peterson put the ball on the ground 3 times that game too,
and they were still one throw away. If he doesn't throw that interception, game, or they go right anyway.
Yeah,
but no, the bottom line with John Jones, and again, I know I'm in the minority when it comes to this. I do not care. A lot of people are waiting for holding their breath for Conor McGregor to come back. I do not care. They're gonna wait for John Jones to come back. I do not care. Will we come back for the White House card? Don't care. Don't care, because you quit. You quit. You didn't get asked to leave. You quit. You dropped the title. You took your ball and went home. Why? Because you don't want to give the opportunity to young guys that the older guys gave to you, right? You quit. I don't want to see a quitter. He's a quitter. That's all to me, in my eyes, he's a quitter. And I know a lot of people are not going to see that. Just want to see him get in there and fight. Totally understand that. And if he fights, of course I'm going to watch it. I get it. But I'm not going to sit here with everybody else going like, yeah, please, Johnny, come back, please. Please, Conor, come back. No.
Yeah, the sport will move on. The sport will move on.
Move on. We need new stars, not recycled ones.
Yep. I agree 100%. But, Eddie, the viral news that's been going off all over the internet was the Rajah Jackson situation. Now, me and you, everybody loves Rampage, right? It's a tough situation. Rampage is a lovable guy. He's a guy who's fought for a world title before. We all want to take his back. But when you see this video, and I'm sure you've seen it all in all the videos leading up to it and everything, like we talked before the show, but it's hard you can't defend it, right? Like at the point where he slams the guy, and I understand what happened before the slam, the beer can in the parking lot, him thinking this is a professional wrestling stunt, and Raja not knowing what the fuck's going on.
Right.
And but here's my thing. He had 2 outs, right? And I texted you this. He had an out after the beer can. He could have knocked him out or done whatever he wanted to in the parking lot and said, that's self-defense. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Exactly. You just hit me with a beer can. I just defended myself. He could have done that. He didn't do it. He instead decided to attack a defenseless man who gave up vulnerably. Like, this in wrestling. We don't watch professional wrestling, but as kids, we watch enough of it to know what we're watching. Yeah. He gives up his body vulnerably, lets Rajah pick him up over the shoulder, and he slams him on his head. And whiplashes his head off the back of the canvas. He's knocked out cold immediately. Now, from there, Rajah had another out. He could have said, oh, shit, I don't know what I'm doing. I slammed him on his head. Fuck. But in all reality, we would have known you slammed him on his head because of what happened in the parking lot. But legally, you could have got away with it.
Plausible deniability.
Until that point. Then he gets on him and lands, I counted 23 consecutive unanswered punches. Eddie, we've been watching fight sports all of our lives, basically. We watch fighting for a living. I've never seen something this heinous I've never seen a bad assault like this. I've seen where people get knocked out at clubs and stepped on and stomped on, and those are always bad. And obviously, people should be charged with assault and everything in those situations as well. But this was even more so than that. Like when somebody gets into a bar fight and gets knocked out, and then there's a scramble and someone steps on you and you got guys kicking. It is what it is. You went to the bar. You kind of signed up for the situation. When you vulnerably give your body up to get slammed and then just pound, this is attempted murder in my mind, Eddie. And I hate to say that because we all love Rampage. But if this isn't attempted murder, I don't know what attempted murder is.
There are so many aspects to this story. It makes my head spin, okay? The beer can, right? Wrestler, Psycho Stu, yep. Psycho Stu had no idea that Raja was not a worker. He was just there as a guest or whatever he was doing. Hits him with the beer can. Didn't even hit him. If you look what he did, he goes like this, hits his own hand, pulls a hand. It's a wrestling trick.
Full of compressed air. It wasn't full of beer.
It's not even a real can, right? It's just, it's a can, but it's not. It's there for effect. It's like when wrestlers spit out fucking blades or whatever to cut themselves up in the middle of matches. They bleed like crazy. Shout out Hulk Hogan, doing that all the time. Shit like that. That's like that. So that happens. The fucking thing that buries Raja is the videos. So many behind the scenes. First of all, this dumbass is an IRL streamer. You guys in real life, or whatever they call it. Scum of the earth, IRL streamers. Eat it. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. IRL streamers are garbage. Especially the ones that go to Japan and fuck with people over there. Fuck you guys. All right. But the IRL streamers are fucking stupid because they do whatever their dumbass audience tells them to do for donations and subs. Fucking dumb. All right. So here's what happens. Right, Raja gets hit. He's like, "What the fuck, man? What the fuck?" First of all, you're 100% right. Should have thrown hands immediately. Okay, doesn't happen. You know what happens? Psycho Stu apologizes not once but twice. We see a handshake 2 times. We see Raja say, "It's all good. It's all good." They get in there. Whoever invited Raja, that idiot with the cowboy hat, that dumbass, tells him like, "Hey man, you can get your receipt." Right. Yeah. Again, we know what receipts are because we watched pro wrestling when we were kids. A receipt is you get your one shot back. That's like a
forearm shiver.
Just one.
That's not like a.
You get your one shot back.
Yep.
It wasn't whoop his ass. It was shot. Whether Raja knew or didn't know what a receipt meant, you're still an idiot for doing this, bro. But he gets in there, and you're 100%. First of all, Raja's not suplexing that dude on his own. Dude jumped, helped him. We've seen this shit before, right? Helps him, slams and gets on top, pop, whatever. Nobody knew what the fuck to do. He got hit with so many unanswered shots because everyone was like, okay, this is it, right? It's an act. This is a work.
12 before someone even put a finger on him.
They're like, it's not a work? Oh, shit. The one dude went and grabbed him, and Raja tried to take him down. Like, and props to him for doing the proper takedown defense at that moment. But then Raja gets kicked out or whatever. And reel back. I don't know if you've seen the video of Raja sitting ringside, and he's looking at his dumbass chat.
He goes 50 subs and I'll knock him out.
Egging him on. Yeah. Raja, you are so fucking stupid. You let strangers ruin your life. Enjoy that. Good job, dummy. Okay. They talked them and gassed them up into getting in there and doing some stupid shit. That was dumb as hell. All right. And fucking straight up, you're 100% right. I'm with you. That's attempted murder because it was premeditated. He read the shit. He said 50 subs and I'll whoop his ass and I'll knock him out. Then he went and did it and put the poor guy in the hospital. Luckily, last I saw, he was awake and talking and smiling and shit. Great, but still, there's no reason for that to happen to a veteran and a military veteran that was using pro wrestling to get away to work on his PTSD. Good job, Raja. Fucked yourself 8 times right there. So gets out of the venue. And more videos. They keep fucking with me, man. They keep fucking with me, bro. You are Rampage Jackson's son. You weren't raised in Compton. You weren't raised in the hood.
This is what I don't understand, Eddie. He keeps saying, I'm not a bitch. I'm this. And you're right. He's raised better than both of us. Like, his parents have more money than a lot, more than anybody I know, So, anyway, where was I going with that? Fuck.
No, so here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. Sorry, and I know you had a point there, but just I'll finish mine real quick, and then hopefully you get yours back here.
Yeah.
He gets out there and he starts talking all this shit on video, all of it. Rampage Jackson knows. He knew. He put out that whack ass apology. He understands what happened. All right. He's coming to defense of his son, sure. Right. There's another video too that came out. He was like, I guess he has 2 Japanese sons. He was like, I saved that money for their education, and for my other 2 sons here, I saved up for their bail. He goes, so he can get arrested. I'm just gonna bail him out. Nice job enabling an idiot. That's great. But end of the day, man, like all the videos, hey, don't keep fucking with me. They're gonna keep fucking with me.
Yeah, that's what it was. When he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm not a bitch," keep fucking with me. Bro, all you had to do was beat his ass when he did it to you, and you wouldn't have felt like a bitch, and no one would have said shit, and there would have been nothing about nothing. It's ridiculous. Like, here's an idea: don't act like a bitch if you don't want to be treated like one. I'm sorry. Do you think that dude would have slammed a can over your dad's head in that situation with him not knowing what's going on?
No,
probably not.
No, and there's so many bastards to this story, but end of the day, he needs to pay for what he did. Now I don't know if Psycho Stu's pressing charges or not.
Did you see Chael? I don't even think he's going to have to press charges because when this video comes out, the DA is going to pick it up.
Oh, that's true.
Los Angeles Police Department.
That's true.
And they're going to charge. That's what people aren't understanding here. This isn't.
That's true.
Not you, but some people I've seen online.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Say that he's just going to get his money and this is going to. No. There's a difference between civil suits and criminal law, like criminal situations. Yeah. So. If he gets charged criminally, he's getting charged with aggravated assault, attempted murder, and more often than not, Eddie, you know this, they'll charge the book at you and then they'll go down, right? They'll plead it down, but they'll charge you with something that's pretty scary, right? Mm-hmm. Attempted murder with great bodily harm, and they'll plead it down to aggravated assault or whatever. But I think he's looking at 3 to 5 years in prison here, Eddie, at the very best. If he pleads this thing down to aggravated assault, I think that's probably what he's looking at.
I mean, that, and no one's ever going to touch him again. You know what I mean? First of all, he's whack. He's not a good fighter. Let's be honest. Okay, he's not.
He's not a fighter. He's 0-1. He's less of a fighter than Randy Couture's son Ryan. Like, he's not a fighter. Like,
no, he's an insecure little bitch that can't fight it. Honestly, and it's not. And this is not me making excuses for him, but he's a guy that doesn't know who he is. That's why he's trying all these different things. I'm a streamer. I'm a wrestler. I'm a fighter.
You know what the worst part about it, Eddie, is that he just got given, like his dad's making a whole bunch of money on Kick doing the IRL stuff you're talking about. And his dad's getting so big that people are starting to follow him.
How you going to be 50? How you going to be 50-some years old? Anyway, sorry, Rampage.
Credit to Rampage. But
at least he's funny.
Other than that, though, Raja was finally getting into his own, right? He was getting a little bit of feed and juice off that to where he had his own stream, and he was probably going to be making – probably $10,000 a month minimum on Kick. Like, let's be honest, they pay a lot of money to streamers, especially if you're doing it 24/7. So, of his stature and his father's stature. So he's probably getting paid $100,000 for the first time in his career, and he's in like the first couple months of doing that, and you throw it away. You've waited your whole life for this opportunity, and you're just going to throw it away at the point you start seeing the benefits of it. And to me, it comes to a point where I think it's somebody who never has had to handle pressure in their life. And they finally had to handle the pressure from the naysayers of the commenters, the pressure of Kick, being responsible for, giving content when they're giving you money. And I don't know. I don't know if he was just too unintelligent to handle that pressure or what it was. But when you see a guy knocked out on the ground, unconscious, a normal human being's not landing one punch, let alone 20 after. That was one of the saddest things I've seen.
Yeah, and look, end of the day, just to wrap this up, because we keep talking about it, or harping on it, whatever. But he assaulted a man. He tried to kill him. Went off like that, and I just hope that Psycho Stu gets. And I know someone started to GoFundMe for his medical bills, and that fake piece of shit, Mr. Beast, that donated. Great, you did something decent for the first time in your life, jackass.
He's like, wait, free clout? I'll jump in.
Yeah, fuck Mr. Beast can eat it. I don't give a shit. And if you can get mad at me, fuck you too. But people donated. He's like over $100,000 is what the last I heard. So I'm glad he's gonna be. Yeah, but the damage is there. It's done. He already had PTSD. Who knows what else? He knows what else he's gonna have to deal with now.
And how long do you live after that? Here's the thing, Eddie. He goes in there's complications with everything, right? He goes and dies in 3 years because he's got some type of organ fails on him. who's to say that that's not attributed to this? And he gets sued civilly after that, for damage to his body leading to death or whatever.
And is it going to stop him from being able to work and provide for his family? Like, there's so many aspects to the story that people aren't even talking about. That basically, bottom line, Raja and his dumbass fucking followers on Kick have ruined his life. Mostly Raja. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming just the Kick followers. The Kick followers are idiots. But he's an idiot and he ruined his own life. And enjoy yourself. I hope you get 20.
You think? You think he gets?
I hope. Look, man, in this country, the people with money and people with clout and fame and all that shit rarely get what they deserve. Okay, rarely. All right, we don't. People need to. There needs to be real consequences. This shit don't happen again. Bottom line, he won't. He'll get 5, maybe, right? But it's just in 5 years for to possibly destroy a man's life. Mm. And a guy that fought for the country. Come on, dog.
Yeah, and we could talk about this all day. Chael's reaction, Guru's reaction, Chael's reaction, everybody's his initial reaction.
Chael did it for views and clicks and likes, and Guru's just, in my opinion, Guru's just an idiot. But I don't know what he said. What did Guru say?
He said some stuff that he got called racist because I believe he called
called him an animal, right?
Yeah, he said he's an animal that belongs in a cage. But honestly, when you sit back there and think about it, like nothing to do with race or anything. It has nothing to do with that. When you act like an animal, when you go out there and you do this brutality, like you're an uncivilized human being, like that's why we have jails and why we have prisons and why we have laws. Like
agreed. Guru knows what he's doing. Guru knows what he's doing. I don't like Guru, and I don't like his content for shit. I don't hate him. I just don't care for his content. His shtick to me is tired as fuck. Everyone else does it. There was that one jackass that was here. I forgot what his name is. I don't even care. But he was like trying to do the same shit and it didn't work out. So he went off to do his little workout videos. But this dude, like, I just don't care for this shtick. It's just stupid to me. It's boring and it's easy and lame. But Chael doing it, I was like, damn, Chael, you're funny already. You could just be honest, bro.
Hate, Eddie. I've never seen so much hate on a comment section in my life.
Because he said it was like fake. And I'm like, bro, he's in the hospital. That ain't fake. Like,
no.
When's the last time you saw fake shit end up in the hospital?
He was also saying, like, oh, Stu, if you don't press charges and do the right thing, Stu, people will really respect you in the wrestling community. And like hinting that he shouldn't, like, that he should say it was all a work. And I'm just like, dude, this is sickening.
Nah, forget it. Isn't he is Chael Sonnen isn't he didn't he take that spot against Craig Jones?
I heard he may, yeah.
I hope you do, bro. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, honestly, Eddie, is Chael just the biggest genius of our time and just did that to promote his match with Craig Jones?
100%. That was on
so
purpose.
Everyone could see him get beat.
Chael Sonnen never does anything by accident. Keep that in mind. Every time you see him say something stupid or something that goes like this, nothing is by accident.
He played us like a fiddle, Eddie.
This guy, he's one of the smartest guys. I still think he should be the guy next guy that takes over the UFC. It'll be Hunter, but him or DC would be great to take over.
DC said on Shannon's podcast that he thinks he should be the guy.
I think DC should be the guy too. But here's the thing. Hey, PFL, free game. Get rid of Don Davis, bring in Chael Sonnen. Or at the very least, get rid of Jonathan Coachman, bring in Chael Sonnen. There you go.
Yeah, that would be interesting at least. But thanks for joining us, fight fans. There's no UFC or PFL fights this week. We will be back here shortly when Kai Baralo takes on Nasruddin Imavov from France. There is Dana White Contender Series next week. Make sure to tune into our Instagram page for those face-offs or Pat Dana, Pat Danna on Instagram. And you can get all that Dana White Contender Series exclusively on Cage Side Press. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time.
Go outside and touch some grass, assholes.